Hello amazing family, welcome to my YouTube channel Amazing Grace with Bosse. I had the opportunity to give a talk at the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations meeting here in Abuja on achieving gender equality in Nigeria, the role of public relations. Enjoy.
Welcome to the podium the speaker of today's professional platform, Mrs. Grace Ojo.
The chairman, vice chairman, members of the executives, fellows in the house, council members, distinguished professional colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be here today. I'm one of you. If you're a feminist, raise your hand. Okay, not everybody. Not to worry. Are we therefore surprised that the National Assembly did not vote to pass the bills that will give women more opportunities and seats at the table? If all of us here, public relations practitioners, are hesitating to say they are feminists, I am unapologetically female. I love being a woman. I dare say that I, Grace Abosede-Ojigbo, I am a feminist. Why are many women so afraid to say that they are feminists? Why are women not supporting us? Why are men not rooting for us? Feminism in our climb tends to have a very negative connotation. Unfortunately, the average Nigerian man has very strong misconceptions about feminism and gender equality. And so they find ways and means to resist women's agitation. One would think that the level of literacy would help to allay the fears of our men that we do not plan to usurp their powers or undermine them. We just want equal representation because we are capable and we are competent. It's time to explain to our men, our husbands, our brothers, our sons, the real meaning of feminism. The dictionary defines feminism as all genders having equal rights and opportunities. It's about respecting diverse women's experiences, identities, knowledge, and strength, and striving to empower all women to realize their full rights. And our own Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie defines feminists in a very simple way. And what did she say? She said, feminists, as a man or a woman who says, yes, there is a problem with gender as it is today, and we must fix it. We must do better. Hey, is that a bad thing? I don't think so. Nowhere does it say that we want to subjugate our men. I am a feminist, and I recognize the fact that the man is the head of the family. But I also know that I'm a human being, and I have a voice, and I desire fulfillment, self-actualization, and equal opportunity and representation in the scheme of things. Gender equality is a fundamental human right. The Sustainable Development Goals states it clearly in Goal 5. To achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls with the hope to end all acts of discrimination against the female gender. So, if you're a woman and you are not a feminist, and an advocate for gender equality, if you're not supporting other women and speaking with one voice, tell me, why should the men fight for us? Why should they give us power? Why should they give us seats at the table? If women are sabotaging themselves and working at cross purposes, why should the men support us? So, to achieve gender equality, what do? There are so many things, but because we are limited by time, I'm going to talk about a few. We must start from our homes. We must start raising our sons and resetting their minds from when they are toddlers. We as women must start early to groom our sons and erase the superiority and entitlement mentality that tend to make them look at women as second-class citizens. We are first-class citizens. We must let them know that they are not more important than their sisters. I have 4 children, 3 boys and a girl, and my sons know that they are not more important than their sister. We have to expose our sons to the same chores and responsibilities as the girl child. We must continue to make the case for girl child education. The preference for educating male children encourages discrimination and has limited the full capacity and potential of the girl child. Let's talk about the very important one: women participation in politics and governance. The continuous imbalance in governance and all the sectors of the economy is glaring. Women are given almost no opportunity to participate in politics, and this is in spite of the advocacy and call for inclusion and the strategies by various international agencies to reduce gender equality to the barest minimum. We saw what happened in the National Assembly when bills seeking gender equality were rejected. Take a look at the appointments across all parastatals. What do you see? All men. This has got to change. If we want economic growth, we must include women. Women are transformational agents. We need much more than 35% affirmative action. Yes, we do. So, what is the role of the media? What is the role of public relations practitioners in achieving gender equality in Nigeria? What can we do to change people's perception? What tools can we use to promote positive attitudes and behavior about the role of girls and boys in society? How can we help to change mindsets and drive the narrative that indeed we should all be feminists? We should all be advocates for gender equality. Can we honestly say, as public relations practitioners, that we are using the media enough to communicate our message? Are we doing enough to promote gender equality? Can we say that we are serving women well? We have wives, daughters, and sisters. Are we fighting their cause? As public relations practitioners, we work in different organizations. Have you taken time to look at the legacy and online platforms and see the level of exposure that the men are getting vis-a-vis what the women are getting? Are women and girl child issues getting enough media coverage that can help change perception? Are we not part of the problem? Is our poor reportage of women in politics, for example, or women issues, generally rape, sexual molestation, harassment, because we think that the men are superior and that women are second-class citizens? Are our religious and cultural sentiments affecting the way we do our job and present women? Are the women public relations practitioners even representing their fellow women? Women represent about 50% of Nigerian population, according to a 2020 report. We can therefore not afford to neglect the wisdom and the capability of this group and the contribution that we can bring to make Nigeria a truly prosperous nation. I came across a study by Desmond Ake on media and gender inequality in Nigerian politics. The paper examined the role of the media in promoting gender discrimination and inequality in Nigerian politics, and looked at media coverage of the 2015 presidential election in Nigeria. It compared the level of media coverage given to the female presidential candidate, Professor Remi Sonaya of the COAC party, and male counterparts. It looked at two very top Nigerian newspapers and focused on data that was generated from news mentions in the two newspapers for a period of 28 days just before the election. The study showed that women were denied fair access to the media, and it also identified media bias in the coverage of female news and female stories, female-related stories. It concluded that the role the media played affected how the electorate perceived the female candidates in the election. So we all know that what we hear and what we see often will ultimately impact and determine the way we experience reality. You will agree with me? When something is in your face all the time, in no time, you internalize it and you buy into it. So what this tells us is that media and public relations practitioners have a whole lot to do in the fight for gender equality in Nigeria. We need to understand our social responsibility as perception drivers to promote unity, social cohesion, gender equality, and the fundamental human rights of every Nigerian. It's important, therefore, that we are deliberate and intentional about our communication, such that it builds understanding, trust, acceptance, and becomes a win-win for men and for women, and all who desire to see equal representation of men and women across all sectors of society. So, as PR practitioners, we must help to create gender-sensitive and gender-transformative contents that will change perceptions and break gender stereotypes. We must use every available medium to challenge traditional and cultural norms and attitudes that demean womanhood and does not serve humanity. I'm wondering how we got here. How did it happen? History tells us how women have played great roles in Nigeria. We have the likes of Queen Amina, Queen Idia, Funmilayo Ransome Kuti, Margaret Eko. We know the story of the Aba women's riots. Women organized a massive revolt against unjust policies. The protests made the colonial authorities to drop their plans to impose market taxes and to curb the power of the warrant chiefs who were oppressing the women. We should be progressing, not retrogressing. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much gender inequality in our society today. It's time for you and I to use our tools, our positions, our power to change the narrative and bring about change. The fight for gender equality should not only be for women. We sure cannot do it alone. We need our men. We need our husbands, our colleagues, our friends. We need our sons to come on board and address this unjust structure that currently exists that discriminates and undermines women. We must not be discouraged. We must sustain the campaign, the advocacy, and the agitation for girl-child education, women empowerment, and equal participation of women in governance. We must close the gender gap if we want to see improved productivity and greater economic stability. According to Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, we should all be feminists. My conclusion, therefore, is that media and public relations practitioners need to do more to change perceptions. The goal would be to drum it into the minds and fabrics of all stakeholders, such that the advocacy for gender equality becomes advocacy not just for a segment of society, but for all. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I ask again, if you are a feminist, kindly raise your hand. I am happy and excited to see that more people have raised their hands. Stop bias. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the program. Until I come your way again next time, bye-bye.